Hello, species value system. I was just watching on Don Lemon. They were talking about a college course that's teaching about white racism. Now they're doing that as victim predators of a breaching method against their own culture, which is there are three cultures as the Trinity, as our shared nature. That is not debatable. Is the culture. Everything else is negative value nature. Now we have recorded misprision mental health care corruption with internation police and criminal justice, and the way their fact treatment nature is looking for leadership in relationship to they have all these businesses, the businesses of police forms. Whereas they were in our recorded victim predators, incapable of describing the fact treatment nature racket they're using color. Then for now, because it tactically forced our founders to hide their roles. That means play what was forced by built engineered live progression cover up natures in theaters, so they could see. It was the international maintained breaching method. Same people inwardly keeping the states and areas opinion natures in England, keeping the England forced to be a pseudo identity, semi-breached perpetually as a fake side here with other nations too. It wasn't just England to America's colonization. In that war between England and America on the surface that left all this entrenched, requires us of a quality of fact treatment nature to demonstrate that. Because there's an actual value nature system. There's also tactically denatured nature and our relationship to it. But you have to be able to describe that with and as a quality of fact treatment nature that is describing it as Native American. Thank God there's still some alive, because those are the means and needs and the voices and the nature that are guide. Because we are their value. Because this is why we're species together. We know that there's not a quality of fact treatment nature that's not abridged. The Constitution is abridged. We had the right other then, still doing that now. Trained as victim predators in relationship to justifications of physical value nature systems, markets that are of a nature that an honest agency or branch of any government is forced by the truth to say when they're asked questions, for example, that this, like the president's trying to say, they're starting to pretend they don't understand that. Morality in relationship to negotiations and to pretended morality in relationship to what's good and bad, and forced politics in relationship to forced to entertain states and areas, opinion natures, recorded originally and still criminally foreign influenced, right through our books. Boxing that hooks. See Sandy Hook. The investigator Sandy Hook, their family members, on off tied to that. Federal agencies lifted through states and areas as victim predators. Relationship to fact treatment, nature, morality, really. That's because everyone was trained incapable of dealing with truth, where it needs a quality of fact treatment nature to demonstrate understanding not only this, but understanding what denies it, while with and as a nature that is recorded lying. In other words, when you look at what is not true always, and aware that it's exploiting exploitations of it, and rolls with that, it's pretending positive is always when it's being used to facilitate what is not positive. like criminal insidiousness nature does. So everyone was built. I'm not a lawyer, not a police form. You must understand the value that is shared by pseudo-ratiocination and by ratiocination. One must understand how jobs in areas were maintained, built, incapable of countering database illusion stacking rackets inter-industry. There are proofs that I don't even know about. I'm not even a business guy. I'm not a math guy. I'm an English guy. So, but understanding this is the value of the predicate, the predicate act that they share at the same time. Predicate act, the relationship to criminal enterprises, organized crime, which was a fact-cheaping organized crime that used black and white to perpetually maintain degraded fact-cheaping nature, hurt, tired, and just only capable of thinking through this value nature system, justifications of it as morality, suit and tie nations, counters to it the same thing, pseudo-unities forced by entertained shared police, market systems, incapable of countering recorded criminally foreign influence zoning laws and means to relationship to nature and means to all areas, from force divided, tactically denatured in stages. Science is new, all with this legal nature racket built as live progression cover-up style roles in relationship to the value. The sequence nature has value because of its relationship to the progression natures. Value relationship to its to the identity of space, which is the cause to positive or negative value nature progressions, to the evolving value of the body of value, so I'm not a. If you look under a microscope, you can see a cell nucleus, cell body, cell wall. Cell nucleus, cell body, they share an identity as the value of the cell wall, which is only a semi-value of not having a physical body too, but then it shares that with the other cell bodies. So it shares the body of value and demonstration to us. And then it shares that relationship to itself, which if one sequence nature is positive onto itself, as a cell of your body, one semi-nature of it, it's positive to the whole sequence nature. You see what I'm saying? I'm not a doctor. Or courses are revealed within the value of English, because the identity of space is before all temporary space nature. Also because English is a perfect manifested relationship to actual nature with the sounds. And within that is the relationship to the words they represent and make. This course must take, the other took, our name called Lost and Found. Campus Marcius needs it back. Rewind, all come around. Religion. Religion, they say, came from relinga. Relinga. Linga, like linguistics. Religion. 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 Legion. Legion. There is one. Long legion. Long legion of tribes. Long tribe of legions. Long legion of tribes. So, what branches should say and have the news say, because the news is asking them how to speak to explain for example, juxtapose relationships to recorded victims with there and here of the Russian spy den treatments, because they're not alone, and that is with areas maintaining crime methods and online maintaining crime methods with investigators who are doctors, interbranch and intermilitary, and exploiting that to pretend, and with foreign ones here, all different agencies and investigators, and that nature is with Nas natures of crime, with fact treatment natures, and with the facilitation of it, directing motivations, recorded, building victim predator branches, stewards, through roles, building live progression cover-up natures and roles with live progressions from the past. Because we had this originally still internation forced here since before our founder's birth. Our fact-cheaping nature slavery recorded founder's birth. See, knowledge needs real trick factory treatment natures and justifications of glorification as criminal insidiousness nature. I'm not a lawyer. It's criminal insidiousness nature, justifications of education and of, because they're all interscience with mental, physical delusions. Per rackets with psychology. Not only do the predicate and predicate act share value, nature, relationship, discernment that is simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive. The ratiocination and pseudo-ratiocination share it simultaneously, value, nature, relationship to the same value, progression, makes a sequence nature, has a sequence nature relationship to the branches through areas and through database relationships that this breaching organized crime set up to perpetually exploit. To perpetually build a sophistication nature only in relationship to forsaken, unfathomable, unfree, claim free, and then that defended. And then that is maintained, needing to hide from quality fact-cheaping nature because it will hurt so many people formal who are raised as victim predators in roles in conjunction with maintained criminally foreign influence precedents and fact-cheaping nature. Especially regarding Marbury versus Madison. Another lawyer. I believe the substance of the law is that true justice must satisfy all appearances of true justice. They had to leave it like that, unclear. But what it means is that it not to be faked. In other words, they had to say it like that because they were still trapped in a breaching fact-cheaping nature trap, as fact-cheaping nature slaves, and with it worse on people who had more pigment in their skin, and indifferentially, purposely too, for fact-cheaping nature tricks to build fake sides perpetually, to build counters to it perpetually, roles with nice fact-cheaping nature names, only capable of blind respect for database relationships originally and still, criminally internation, criminal foreign persuasions. Internation specifically because to keep that seeming too complicated to face, and with and as all positions incapable of defending those positions as grouped and as forced to be relied on others thinking for them as those groups, and as them forced to be pretending other, because we're going to have a quality of fact-cheaping nature like demonstrated. Database solutions stacking interbranch and with areas in conjunction with it through time. And in conjunction with it, fake news, both sides of stories, used to hide all kinds of federal crimes with mouths of through investigators, homeland and foreign, through rackets they have a crime method where they cultivate roles to and as this per directed demonstrations and confessions and crime roles with database illusion stacking. Now online too, completely with the making mistakes on purpose, make mistakes on purpose together to keep the branches needing to pretend other together. That is what facilitated 9/11 crime rolls. Plus they have crime rolls with areas tied to the prison staffs and stuff like that, the way they were raised with database crime rolls, with courts, with the state prison building, the state prison building, houses next to it, houses next to the record and confess to me and others. This is no involved, but they're pretending other. They have database illusion stacking roles. They talk through different people involved with that, with kids, with recorded and confessed child predators, proven and further recorded and confessed with Wethersfield. Interbranch, all connected to Wethersfield, intercity through time, especially with CCSU on off campus, Trinity College. There was a reported shooting of a kid of another kid down the street from the state judicial branch offices and related house of businesses. And then there was one a little bit before that with on Zion Street, right next to Trinity College, connected to the same ones. Also, Enzo Fienza recorded and confessed as a stranger, directed to make all these confessions to me, and then to threaten me, made me and others. He had crime roles with detectives, also recorded and confessed, involved with my past and current neighbors. Also recorded and confessed intercity, involved through time, with database illusion stacking, evidence crime roles, witness fabrication crime roles, with the Dillon family, and with my past neighbors, Kaliza or Lewis too. They used the name, and then they have another cousin or something like that. I don't know, but associated with airplane pilots and a Joey Quest and stuff like that, with like police farms intercity. Two Mendez brothers recorded and confessed, involved with online police with rape threats of little kids, sustained evidence crime roles with courts, involved with the rape threats and sustained with a proven principal who was on the sex offender list, I believe now. But also recorded and confessed, involved with further investigators, recorded and confessed that they were hiding with that first. And they have tied untimely deaths that brought that up to me. And there's more, but they're not doing it because it was tied to them through time. There's also people that have been not letting me get the names of, tied to the Dillon guy, and to the other men and women involved with as child predators, as employments with police forms, foreign and domestic, juxtaposed, or raised as victim predators, already invested to lives. So you have to hurt a lot of people to get justice. Otherwise, you have to leave pseudo-justice and just keep hurting people through the courts each day. So you have to just admit this. Forgiveness was for this, because we can't stop the people going to court each day. You can't stop making victims who are going to be predators, and we can't stop hurting innocent people in courts each day. Defending courts with and as recorded. Sick nature, they need to hide that offensively. And real fast with time tricks, sequence shifts, justifications of that, needing to pretend credibility, faking people's body language, sequence shifting, stacking, database illusion stacking, indifference to that, worse, exploitations of that, roles raised as that to be positioned there, recorded, confessed. See, but we have to have the right proper fact sheet in nature, so that we can have perpetually the wrong outcomes. perpetually people cases where they're not preventing exceptions like demonstrated. Because this was a crime method that was systemically setting up to exploit exceptions. So there was a Phil Collow too. I never made a video with him. They had a video. Years later, they showed that to me one time. The closest I ever came to like half a conversation with him. And right up front, they confessed that tied to a two-rod highway, a Victorian house. Years after that. Because that was that made me forget that he was the person that was behind a person I never even knew before, a Bayrock, which is I don't know, that's supposed to be a company like that. See how they name things like that? But that was a young black kid. So and this was his tie to them with recorded crime rolls with little kids with KKK theme, Confederate flag theme, crimes with doctors too, tied to courts, drug clicks, evidence fabrication, nature clicks, with the police also. Recorded with the Phil Collow also recorded and confessed involved with two Mendez brothers. Recorded and confessed involved with police. Recorded and confessed involved. No, they forged names, switched names. MPO Floyd recorded and confessed involved. Also, other agencies and police forms in the area, foreign and domestic, in the area too. In many ways, because they're doing this through time. I've been asking to make a point about facts. If you try to do facts, because they're criminally foreign internation influence, they pretend to have fake sides, they wouldn't collude with each other. But their collusion was just to defend themselves as knaves in relationship to areas maintain crime methods a little bit further simple truth, not letting be demonstrated by right to lie used for areas crimes. That's like, well, there are recorded proofs that the interreligious problems with the child predators is tied to an on-off campus sex crime problem we have with mental doctors recorded, with their ties to courts and with schools, with proven with further recorded and confessed child predators. There's also Mike Levine recorded and confessed involved, and a DeMauro family and a Scalora family recorded and confessed involved with others in my area, recorded and confessed involved with database solutions stacked with evidence crime rolls with courts, interbranch police, foreign and domestic ones, also with overt drug clicks and database solution stacking, and then rolls tied to each one of those people connected tied to evidence crimes in courts and with them. In other words, and also to a pattern of them having people that I never had anything to do with growing up, all them tied to rackets with the houses in my area, with the little clique my age, that were tied to the child predators, proven tied to the mother of one, with a guy tied to Hartford Hospital, that used to be associated with the community center. Also recorded and confessed with crimes with my own family and with the child predators, with men and women too. Also, with the child predators, also victims advocates even. So they have it for a fact treatment racket set up, where then they have defended fake ulterior motives to blame others for what they're doing, to leave each age of fact treatment nature not let voice or be raised as a criminal disease, since nature suit and tie fake, used as predators. That was his recorded, tied to Sandy Hook investigators and their family members recorded that were child predators, child victims used as weapons when I was a kid. And now they can't go back and deal with fact treatment nature. So they recorded offensive, pretending physical delusions into the media, telling the media to fake both sides of the stories. Because in the background, through time, they've been pretending illusions with the progression nature of each age of fact treatment nature tied to the database crime method with class placements for that. maintaining the halls where the time you have with that being the little bell, you go back, so you're only going to go so far, and you're only going to see the people, and you're not going to interact with these people because these are the I mean, then they play your reaction. That's also, I do that. I learned about that. I was expert on that in grammar school. I realized, you know, they're tactically degrading. They're attaching everyone to fake database relationships. Hiding off the records means to exploit us right in our faces. We have to bring ourselves to a value nature system as tactical ulterior from these, tactical ulterior from the one that causes evolution. Forgot what that was. What the point was. So what nations have to be able to have the branches be able to say is we're negotiated to a morality differences in the and fights within as a factor of nature. They can't justify that nature of convictions within as morality, justifications and convictions, physical delusions within as the quality of that in relationship to the quality and substance we need to have that has nothing to do with abridged markets positions that can't be defended as morality. And you know, those are not means.